Today we're going to do another basic ballet choreography dance. You can use it on its own as a simple short piece or add it to a previous piece that I did for you. If you didn't see the previous piece, I will add that footage at the end of this video and I'll put the timestamp here so you can go to it first if you haven't seen it already. So if you haven't seen the first piece, go to the timestamp, do the first piece and then come back to the beginning of this video and learn the second piece. There will also be a third piece in a future video in case you want to make a really long dance routine. And as I said in the previous video, you can also change this into a dance on point, which I will go through those separately after this first piece done on flat. So therefore this piece can be for all levels of dance. So I'm going to start this piece how we finished the first piece, and if you're doing it on its own, of course, you can just start in this position, and this starts facing the back. So this piece will have finished if you do the first piece with a rise facing the back. I'm going to face the front for a minute just to show you, and we ended in a rise and you could take the arms up. From here we will do two waltzes. You could also make them ballonets if you preferred to do that. So a waltz is basically a spring to the side with a nice extended foot prior to landing on it and a little pulse and spring. So it's very important to stretch the foot before landing on it to make the waltz. You could do high arms and low arms, or you could do high arms and high arms. That's up to you, and as I always tell you, make sure you use your head. This makes a huge difference to the overlook of any ballet. If you wanted to, you could travel on them. Forward, diagonally back, or forward, forward. So you can change any of these steps to suit. Remember, this is going to be done facing the back. So we're in a rise and waltz, waltz. Then we're going to do a demi-détourné, up, turn, drop, and then cross the arms in front. For the demi-détourné, of course any arms, but a third position looks rather nice, making this front arm rounded. Third position, arms. For a demi-détourné, you're going to releve up. Then you're going to pivot half a turn, naturally exchanging the back foot for the front foot in the releve position without moving the feet. So a natural twist round, you will unlock the feet and then the other foot will be in front in the releve position, and then you jump down back into third or fifth that you started with. Up, turn, drop. Up, turn, drop. You would always do demi-détourné on the bar when you're changing sides to do a bar exercise the other way round with the other leg. Always use demi-détourné to turn round to face the other side. From the rise, waltz, waltz, up, turn, drop, cross the arms with a nice incline of the head. So we have our arms crossed, and from here we're going to do a spring forward onto the right foot into a lunge with the dégagé behind on the left foot, opening the arms to demi-bras. When you dégage, you should never have any weight on the dégagéed foot. From this position, you're going to snatch the feet up to a relevé, arms to fifth and carrou to the left diagonal front. Up and carrous. Up, carrous. Up, carrous. As you do the carrous, you're going to slowly open the arms as you do 2 walks to the right diagonal front, stretching the toes, lunge to the right diagonal back, swinging the arms round to an opaque line. Incline the head. From here, you're going to do 2 rondes with the left foot. You can put the arms in any position, maybe third arabesque for a change. Ronde, ronde. When doing rondes, they often start out to second, but you can start in any position. You're going to go right round to the back, keeping the knee turned out to the side. Push through first position, leading with the heel. So that keeps a nice turn out. End with a dégagé in front and rotate round to the side. And they're quite fast usually. Round through, out, round through, out. When you do these, make sure you always go right round to the back and stop right forward. So don't cut the corners and just go round. Here, you need to go right round to the back, push through with the heel leading and right to the front before rotating out. So you're making a letter D shape. These can be done inwards. Outwards is on day or, inwards is on the don. So you can bring round to the front, making a nice turnout. When you push backward, lead with the toe, and that keeps the turnout. Make sure you stretch the back and out to the side, round to the front, lead with the toes when going backwards, stretch and round. These can also be done on layer in the air, so with a lift, and repeat them there. Then 2 walks, they could be développé walks to the left or to any position if you're going to restart this dance, and arms to second arabesque as you do the walks. So if we were just going to do part 1 of the dance and part 2 of the dance, we would take those walks round to the back and then go back to our start position of this dance, this part 2, or walk and go to the position of part 1 beginning. So always by adding walks at the end of a routine means you can walk to repeat the same short part of routine, or walk to the start of a longer place of a routine. So which of these steps could be done on pointe? Well, one of the first steps you learn on pointe is demi-détourné. And the reason this is one of the first steps you learn on pointe is because, as I said, a demi-détourné is a half turn to change facing the other side on the bar. So therefore you have the support of the bar when learning demi-détourné on pointe. So in this dance, the demi-détourné can be done on pointe. And this should be able to be done in the centre from those starting on pointe, because you should have practiced it many times already on the bar. Keep your body pulled up tall, but remember, keep the shoulders down and bend before you snatch up. You shouldn't be jumping up onto pointe shoes. You should make a good demi-plie, half bend, and then snatch up, pulling those pointe shoes inwards to land on pointe. Another step you should be able to do in this part of the routine on point is the snatch up to a releve in the manner that I've just said how to do it, and the carouse. Again, carouse is another simple step you should be doing on point. They make a lovely sound on point, so don't be afraid you can hear them. You should be able to hear the carouse on the pointe shoes. And again, it's another simple step on point because you're using both feet equally. So if you haven't got the balance for carouse, it's too early for you to be dancing on point. So the carouse in this part, most definitely everyone dancing on point should be able to do the carouse on point in this part of the routine. If you're dancing on point, you should also be at the level of when you do the rond de jambe. The rond de jambe should be on l'air. So if you're at the level you're dancing on point, there's no reason you should not be at the level of dancing with your leg on l'air, because it requires that standard. If you're very accomplished or professional, there's no reason why you couldn't be on point with the supporting leg whilst doing the ronde on l'air. That shows a very good level of ability. And the last part of this routine, where I say 2 walks to your start position, whether it be back to the start of part 1 position or back to the start of part 2 position, if you're just repeating this piece. When you do those walks, make a balance on l'air in second arabesque. So standing on one foot on point with the other leg lifted behind on l'air, arms second arabesque. And that will be a lovely finish. But of course, when you do this position on l'air, make sure you're facing a diagonal to show a good line rather than facing the back. So therefore you could do, instead of the 2 walks, step on l'air, arabesque in second arabesque on l'air, and then step into your finish position, or just hold that second arabesque if that's the very end of your routine. So now I'm going to show you part 1 again to save you trying to find that video. Here is part 1. Start with part 1 and then go on to part 2. If you've already learned part 1, here is just a recap for you, and then go on and dance part 2. Use any music you like, your favourite ballet music. As I say, a very slow piece is good if you have balance. So don't make the mistake of thinking a slow bit of music for ballet is good for beginners. It is not necessarily so. If you're dancing on point, you again might not want a very slow piece of music if you're new to point work, but if you're accomplished or professional doing point work, slow work really shows your ability of dancing on point. So without further ado, I'm going to show part 1 again, and there is a part 3 which will be in a future video, so look out for that. And until next time, as always, happy dancing. Here's part 1. So let's start facing the left diagonal front. We're going to point the left foot forwards to the left diagonal front, and we're going to start with the arms in a high V. We're going to do a sweep down with the front arm going through attitude, down on a fondu, sweeping through, transferring the weight, dégagé, taking the arms to first arabesque, and then close, facing the right diagonal front and arms to attitude. Now turn your head as you do this. We're going to cross the arms as we do a développé behind with the left foot, into a pas de bourrée presenting the arms, and finishing the pas de bourrée, stepping across with the toe of the right foot behind, taking the arms to a 4th position. Now we can either look in the top hand or incline the head or turn the head. Pas de bourrée to the left, taking the arms to fifth. Crossing front again and end, dégaging the left foot to the side, opening the arms and twisting the wrist to a low V. Again, turn or incline the head. Twist to travel to the left diagonal back, doing 2 posé coupés en arrière on the diagonal, taking the arms to third arabesque. Carews round to face the back, taking this arm down and up, finishing in a high V. Facing the side, chassé à la second, circling the arms round, end dégagé with the arms in a curved C shape. Twist to the left diagonal front. We're going to lift the left leg forward, taking the arms to a second arabesque. Then we're going to do a hop run to the back, facing the back in a rise with attitude arms. Now you could go around this way, or you may, after the lift of the leg, choose to go around this way. Personally, I think to go to the way the lifted leg is best. Hop, run, finishing a rise with attitude arm. I recommend when you do my ballet videos to keep pausing the video and write down notes. You can either write the steps and then in brackets write the arms, or it's a good idea to use a different colour pen so that you can always write your arms in one colour. Maybe you write your head direction in another colour and each step in another colour, and of course add the counts. Any of my videos can be done with any type of ballet music because the speed depends on the styling of it and your level. So if you're a lower level, then you obviously want much slower music. But do be aware, if you're doing lifts or balances, sometimes as a beginner, this is not always the best scenario. If you're a professional dancer or high-level dancer, then of course you can hold a balance, which shows a good skill. All my dances and choreography can be adapted to point work. So have a go of these steps. Let's go through the steps of this choreography arrangement and tell you what would be done on pointe. Near the beginning, after the sweep down and the close, the développé of the leg, if you're a good level of doing pointe work, could be done on pointe. Of course, the pas de bourrées, all levels of pointe work, should be able to manage pas de bourrées on pointe. The twist with the posé coupés en arrière, again, if you're a good standard of pointe work, should be very easy for you to do. This is the reason we never use down arms when we're doing something on pointe unless it's a balance, say in a rise or a releve. If we're doing posé coupés en arrière, this is why I've chosen third arabesque for the arms for that. The carews round to face the back, of course this is done on pointe, and even a beginner on pointe can do this step. If you can do only some of the points on step, then this is a good practice routine for you. But of course, if you can do all the steps I say on pointe, then this makes it look better. At the end, the twist and then the lift of the left leg forward. If you're of a good standard of pointe, this looks fabulous to do on pointe. If you find you're better on one leg than the other, then of course you can change to the other leg for this part. Remember to pull your body up and lock your knee and ankle. And then the final piece, the hop run into a rise facing the back. Of course, the rise is on point for a big finish. The longer you can show holding that, so much the better. And don't forget, if you're doing this for a little display, adding it to other pieces, always finish your dance with a reverence. So I'd like to see you in the comments. I will reply to each and every one of you. And until next time, as always, happy dancing.